I got COVID, so I stopped recording for like about 10 days. Probably you already noticed that there's a big gap. Today we will talk about the chapter 10, which is planning tools, and then some of the planning tools and techniques. Let me kind of remind you about different levels of planning. Strategic, all right, planning, the tactical, okay, planning, and then the operational. High level top managers, they are more responsible for the strategic planning. And then for the middle manager, we are more responsible for the tactical planning. And then for the first line manager, we are more focused on the operational planning or operation, simply operation. I like to introduce you this project management. From the project management view, you need to understand that we have this daily routine, every day the same. We repeat. We have this so-called the SOP, to standard operating procedures to follow. But other than that, or we can categorize projects: high level project, middle level project, low level project. So when we talk about the first 10.1, we talk about the organizational planning techniques. So keep in mind that we are more talking about the strategic planning, tactical planning. The 10.2, we will talk about the project, okay? All those planning will lead to projects, but different level projects. Let's start our organizational planning techniques. But here, let's put, focus on the technique or the tools, right? Tools and techniques that we start with, so-called the environmental scanning, okay? So when we talk about the environmental or the environments, I want you to understand that now we are trying to make it more specific and narrowing down. Here, we are more talking about the task environment. I like to call this direct environment. The environment directly connect with your organization, connect with your company. The first thing is we need to proactively monitor the trends and then anticipating the change, this, the market trends, right? Consumer preference change. Other companies, the competitors, whether they are grow faster or there are any substitute goods, right? Substitute products, pop up. We need to be very sensitive. All those factors, if you remember, we talk about the competitive forces. Those will affect our strategy, affect our tactics. Also, they call an environmental scan. I will say a monitor, right? We need to monitor the change, monitor the progress. And then we need to collect the information. Those information can be the data, can be the qualitative information. Those information we needed to collect, and then we needed to get through this into some, we call a system or models, into useful information. We have overwhelmed information, but those information we needed to interpret, and then we needed to translate into the useful information for us to make the decision, to make the conclusion. So nowadays we are more talk about the online searching, but I think it doesn't matter online or offline, right? So talk about the media, right? The social media, we talk about this market, let's say report, right? The market report. Also, the government also provides many information regarding that, right? The energy. At the beginning, I have mentioned something about the CME group. So there are many, let's say, platforms. They got Bloomberg, Wall Street journals. And they collect a lot of information. And then the important thing is how we can translate those information to make them useful. Things we have the internet, we have the computer information. Unlike the previously, we were lack of information, but now we have too much information. And then try to analyze those information and then help us to make the decision. First one, we call this environmental scanning. The second one, we talk about the competitor intelligence. This is information, right? We collected more specific about the competitors' information. Okay, instead of the market information, we talk about the competitive information. I visit the competitor very often. Because my previous job was in like a wholesale retail sector. Anyway, I will go to the grocery store. So it's easy for me to, so I visited competitors trying to see how their layout, right? They display anything new, right? And then also about the price. So what's the change? What's the difference? So customer service, self-checkout, right? Delivery area, pickup area, those are all like very useful information. The environmental scanning is more like the market trend. The competitor is more like competitors are doing to adapt to the market trend. Our company, our organization is moving ahead or moving in advance, or we are too slow. My previous company was slow. Most of the time they are slow. So competitors, they already started the pickup and delivery. We just started planning, all right, the planning phase. So also this is still like the planning phase. I would say like the market trend, right, the market situation, the competitive situation, this is very important. The timeliness is very important, okay? All the competitors, they have changed or they have done their, define the strategy, have their tactics in place. Your company only just started, so it is too slow, right? Very likely you will lose what the market share. I'm not talking about the profit here. We are more talking because of the competition. We are more talking about the market share and then profit, the market power. Industrial espionage, how you can get this inside information. You can visit your competitor. You can have some friends. You can ask some questions, right? So actually, I was in that grocery like this industry, right? So actually, I have many friends. They are, they join the company. So sometimes we just, get together, try to share the latest, let's say, strategy or the latest tactics. So you know what they are doing. This will help you to develop an effective plan. Although those are sensitive, probably they are sensitive, but actually don't worry. Usually you collect some information online, you collect some information from friends. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's illegal or unethical, right? When we have those information, I like to say like no matter this is the market or your competitor, right? Actually, that also including the consumer, right? The consumer, supplier, all those information. Maybe those are like qualitative, right? Qualitative. Maybe those are like raw data, okay? So, but those information not yet useful. We need to get through this as like, we call this conceptual modeling. You have to import those raw information, get into this models, right? So, and then you get some output. The output is the useful information, right? The valuable information, useful information. In economics, we have the model, the basic model, actually demand and supply, right? We collect the information from the market, quantity, price, player, right? Or other things like this import price, whatever. Those are like the information. And then we put into the demand and supply model. And then we draw the conclusion, energy price increase, the supply decrease, energy price increase. And then this combined with inflation and what we do, okay? Those become the useful information. Probably you have seen those, the moving average, the price fluctuation, right? The price lines, average price, let's say curves, right? But those are like a modeling. The output as the useful information to help us to make our decision, to use those useful data, all right, to reach the conclusion or make a decision. Okay, so this is the idea. We have this model, no matter this economic model or let's say like this financial modeling, we just put this into this so-called conceptual modeling. The expert is also a system, your boss. All right, also like this external boss, external expert. They interview those external experts, ask them for this energy price forecast, right? Cryptocurrency, whatever those are, like ask them their opinion. Actually, this is so-called the expert system. They collected the raw information. It's not the artificial intelligence, it's the human intelligence, expert intelligence, right? And then they started to analyze in the system, and then they started to analyze this information based upon their knowledge, based upon their experience, analytical, like say ability. Conceptual model is more like analyzing the data, right? If I put this in the simple way.